Don't think healthcare professionals have any business experience? Think again. No topic is off limits as we share tales from our brave hosts who will always tell it like it is. We are #NoFilterHealthcare. Here to guide you through your healthcare journey are your hosts, Taylor Dunn and Tamara Donda. We want to thank our sponsor, Uptime Health, the leading healthcare equipment and compliance management software company, for bringing this podcast to fruition. Visit uptimehealth.com to learn more. Let's get started.
Welcome to #NoFilterHealthcare. I'm your co-host, Taylor Dunn.
And I'm your other co-host, Tamara Donda, and today we have guest speaker Aimee Vail Davis, who is the manager of special markets at Centrix.
Welcome to the podcast, Aimee.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we are so happy to have you join today's episode. Aimee and I actually just got back from the California Dental Association conference, and it was a great crowd of people. It was actually my first time attending, so we had a wonderful time. And what's funny is Aimee and I actually met at a dental conference back in March, the Women in DSO conference. And that's what I love about these events, is that we are always meeting new, inspiring people that are changing the dental industry. And so, Aimee, I'm really excited to have you on and tell our listeners how you got your start in dentistry and just about your role with Centrix.
So I started in dentistry in 1999 as a dental assistant. And then I knew that I said, I saw the other hygienists in the practice. I said, I want to do that, make a little bit more money, right? And so I went on to hygiene school, graduated there in 2004. And let's see, I got a master's degree in 2011 because I wanted to teach at the college, right? So that didn't work out too well because then I, was having my children. And so then I found Centrix a few years later, and I was a territory rep for 4.5 years. And then since the DSO space is expanding, we're going more towards the medical model. I was already, doing that as a territory rep. I was really focused heavily on the DSOs. And so then they said, well, you're the perfect candidate. So then they made me manager of the DSO department, which it's very new.
Right. And you do a lot of educating in your role as well.
I do. I love to educate, even, if people don't want to listen, but I will. They usually do want to listen. But yeah, I love to talk about, especially caries prevention in general. And then I want to move over more into the oral systemic link in healthcare, for patients, because it's just so important. So I'm currently doing my certification as an oral systemic educator.
Amazing. Well, just to kind of follow that, as an educator in the dental space, I'm sure it can be difficult to switch between discussing preventative dental maintenance with an experienced dental professional and then a student. So how do you make sure that your messaging properly shifts, knowing that both parties are kind of in that different timeline in their careers?
Sure. This happened last week to me, actually. I was given the opportunity to go into a community college to talk with the dental assisting students. And some of the students had only been there, for 2 days. So instead of discussing, a hemostatic agent, I called it a blood stopping material instead of the technical term. I think I'm lucky to do that too, because mainly from being a mom of 4 boys and having to use terms that they, understand. So if you think I'm passionate about my teeth in the field, you should see I'm even more so with my children's teeth. But I have to explain to them in, non-dental or layman's terms so they get it. I also include in my prevention course as a way to talk to patients so that they can, understand it. So we dental professionals, we really should be discussing dentistry in a way that the patients can understand, because really the patients, they don't understand dentistry, and that's okay. So on the other hand, though, I do love to change into my self-proclaimed dental nerd status and start jamming out with my clinical dental speak to, assistants and hygienists and dentists. In fact, I was in Long Island on Monday at a dental school at the endodontic department, and, we talked the dental talk with them. I loved it. But one thing I always make sure of is that I know my audience to ensure a smooth delivery on all levels of dentistry.
Yeah, and I love that you touched on how you're also educating them how to speak to the patients as well. And, I love when my dentist can explain things to me because I don't come from dental. So I need that education sometimes because I'm like, what does that mean? So it's important as well.
Right.
Um, Yeah. So for that hashtag no filter moment, we always have one. Can you tell us what you think is the most common mistake dental offices can make when it comes to preventative care? And at the same time, how do you translate that information to dental students so that they can avoid making that mistake?
As a dental hygienist, I'm, always passionate about prevention. So I don't like saying that people are making mistakes. I'd rather just say that they need education, right? I'm a lifelong learner and I try to learn something new every day. Therefore, like I said, I love to pass that dental knowledge to anybody that will listen, whether they want to or not. If I hear somebody that, maybe they had a cavity at one of my kids' basketball games, I'll go up to the person and say, did you know that cavities are preventable? And I happily teach them about fluoride. Again, whether they want to or not. So anyway, most people are super grateful that I share this information, and I really do believe in the caries risk assessment and using that for each and every patient. This topic is really trending in the dental industry right now today, but I want to say kudos to everybody that is using that caries risk assessment daily on patients, because caries or cavities, that's the number one global disease burden right now, and it's preventable. So I believe we can be the change agent one office at a time. And when I was doing direct patient care, I would be so excited after I, did a deep cleaning. The patients would come back and their gums would be healthier, right? But now I'm so happy that I talked to the offices that implemented the prevention program, and I see it working for them after taking the CE course. As for dental students, if we don't connect with them while they're in school, well, then I'm going to do it, engage them when they graduate, right? So, as I said, prevention is a really hot topic in dentistry right now. So I see the trend more and more with offices implementing the risk assessment form. So I'm sure that it's heavily focused on in the schools already. So it is when they move into maybe a private practice as an associate, or my favorite, the DSO space, and things are just done differently there. So being able to provide that education again, that to include the whole staff, is so beneficial in the caries prevention.
Do you ever find that it's like a light bulb moment, right, when you're talking to dental professionals, or do you ever get that, pushback, or is it kind of a mix of both?
So my approach is pretty simple: to seek out those that'll benefit from caries prevention education, connecting with each and every one. As for pushback, we dental professionals are an inquisitive bunch. So I've had questions from staff members all the time. I welcome the challenges because we really are a pretty smart bunch. So also because I'm usually in an office setting, I can make my presentation really interactive by allowing them to ask questions and comments during the course. And I try my best to answer all questions, with my 20 plus years of experience in the dental field. However, we do typically keep the course under an hour, so there isn't much time for a longer discussion or pushback if the conversation kind of goes awry. But really, it never happens. It is typically like, they're like, oh, okay, this is really a good program to implement. So, and I always offer my availability to those, after via phone or via email. And my wonderful company absolutely supports me with excellent marketing materials, training, and trust as well. So I more often, like I said, have the light bulb moment with the staff and really most people just want to help their patients achieve that optimal oral health.
Hey, I love that good marketing. That makes us feel really good too. We're big on the marketing side, so it's good to hear that you guys have a good team behind you.
Very strong.
One of the really interesting topics that we continuously bring up, but it's the pandemic, right? I hate talking about it because nobody wants to talk about it anymore. But do you feel that that kind of shifted your education model? I know that you have like a virtual platform, education side, and then you also have the in-person course. Do you think that dental professionals are now more excited about meeting in person, or do you think that's really, it hasn't really shifted that education experience much?
So I really don't have that many issues scheduling the course, whether it's in person or Zoom. This is one of the positives that came out of the pandemic. So now we know education can reach the farthest places with the virtual learning. I love that. And also all of the online food ordering and delivering options are amazing. So I can send lunch to an office in Los Angeles one day and to Miami the next day. It's wonderful. So most dental professionals, we love education and will accept any platform, especially when lunch is included, right? So personally, I love delivering the course both ways, especially, when it's indicated, if you're off into all the way far away up in Maine, right? You can do that learning for them. I do have to say though, it is much more exciting as a rep to go out and about, to offices, especially with another sales rep. I had a lovely day on the ferry. We went to Long Island on Monday with my coworker, who also happens to be a good friend. So it was nice. But sometimes you will get that office that confirms, and then I'm not sure if they forget, even though, the day before it was a go. But in any case, when you're doing an online course and the office doesn't show up, but lunch does, it's a bit nerve-wracking when the office is in, say, Wisconsin, right? If I was out on the road, then I can just, go and peek in. Are you guys there, right? So on the other hand, I love being able to connect, and both ways are pretty popular. But the in-person events, I'm so glad they're back.
And I know we are too. We're super excited.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's so happy to finally be back in person, and actually getting the education in person. To me, I mean, I enjoy that more, because then I feel like I can ask those questions in real time instead of having to write them down and come back and send an email or whatever it is. So I love it, but to each its own at the same time. So
there's definitely ways that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, there's all sorts of ways that we're all learning, and I love it. But it was really great to have you with us today, Aimee. And we just love having access to an educator like yourself to speak on preventative dental maintenance. So if you'd like to learn more about Centrix Dental, or like to schedule some time with Aimee, make sure you visit centrixdental.com. And please subscribe to our podcast or comment below if you have any questions for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.